Everywhere you go, I go. Everywhere you go, I go, champ. Everywhere you go, I go, champ. What you do, I do, champ. I train champ, you train champ. Let's fight, champ.
Just before the ref was about to stop the fight, the fighter's mom was trying to attack her son's opponent with a shoe. She was able to get one good shot in before being pulled away. After a couple of setbacks, Marvin Hagler finally became the middleweight champion of the world in front of a sellout crowd of 12,000 in the Wembley Arena. Unfortunately, there was not one single Hagler fan out there. Once the fight was stopped due to cuts, Minter fans began raining beer cans and then some at Hagler and his team.
He said he was the rightful champion, and he's won it in 3 rounds. And people are throwing beer cans. One's landed on me. Beer cans are being hurled in all over the ring. There's a fight started over Hagler. Somebody's attacking him.
It ended so abruptly that officials had to cancel the ceremony where Hagler was handed the belt. Though Hagler was robbed of celebrating this special moment in his career due to hooliganism, Hagler was surprised to a huge homecoming. Crowds of 10,000 gathered to see Hagler be presented a key to the city. Ricardo Mayorga approaches all of his opponents equally the same, in which he will verbally massacre you.
No sabes ni representar tu raza, maricón. Por eso, mira, todos los latinos van a estar conmigo.
To where it is either beneficial to the point you will get back at him for his trash talking, or fail entirely because it made you step out of your comfort zone to fight the type of fight you are not accustomed to. In this matchup, Riddick Bowe's inner Brooklyn came all out for people to see. Bowe heard that Donald was talking trash about him. Bowe told him, "If you say one more thing, I'm going to hit you." Donald, completely forgetting Bowe is from Brownsville, Brooklyn. He means business. So Donald, once again, opened up his mouth, which followed up to Bowe giving him a 2-piece combo.
How you figure that? What? How you figure that?
In 1991, after Larry Holmes' fight with Anderson, during the post-fight press conference, Trevor Berbick showed up to the conference to start some drama. Berbick, out loud in front of Holmes, made claims to reporters that he was involved in the breakup of his marriage.
Okay, he done used his sweetheart to mess up my whole married life, turn her into something she never was. That's why he don't like me. Okay, ever since I fought him, it's been like that. And you can tell him that, because I got proof.
Holmes immediately went to Berbick, began punching and kicking Berbick. Then the fight led to the streets. Unfortunately, the beginning of the fight was not recorded. A crowd arrived to witness this feud breaking out. Berbick was telling spectators that Holmes attacked him.
You ain't got no business punch my wife. Hey, you don't have no business punch. You ain't got no business punch my wife. Kick me, punch me right here in front of everybody.
But before he could finish, Holmes had leaped from a car on top of him and proceeded to beat him till police officers broke it up.
Allow him to kick me and punch me.
Barrera is the type of guy, if you give him respect, he will humbly respect you.
Many people say that Barrera is easy for Nassim Hamed because he always put pressure, but I have surprise for all the people say that. Well, that's all. Thank you, and I am ready to win the fight. Thank you.
But the minute you cross the line, he will go after you. The rivalry between both Morales and Barrera was truly personal.
Recibo a la gente con el mismo cariño. Simplemente que chingada.
which they did not like each other for quite a while, even well after their last fight took place. Lazarte is by far one of the dirtiest fighters out there. In this fight with Casemiro, he put it all out for the mainstream to see. Lazarte received a point deduction, then to follow up and tell the ref, "Do you want to stay alive?" Which is absolutely insane that he would go about and threaten a referee in that manner. Not any kind of referee, but a referee who is part of the IBF organization. After the fight was stopped in the 10th round, another fight broke out. Fans, and also fans who came from outside the venue, rushed in, throwing whatever they could get their hands onto into the ring. A chair flew and sliced Casemiro up. Then a flock of hooligans began to try and hit Casemiro as he was trying to get away. Just by a thread, he was saved by security and was able to get away. The IBF had to make an immediate statement regarding this incident and permanently banned Lazarte from competing in their organized fights. The unusual career of Victor Ortiz has left many fight fans disappointed.
I'm young, but I don't think I deserve to be, getting beat up like this. So I have a lot of thinking to do.
Following his fight after the Andre Berto rematch, one fan had had enough. Caught on tape by the people of Fino Boxing, as Ortiz was making his way to his locker room, an angry fan, with the accuracy of Tom Brady during a 2-minute drill, launched a pizza box, nailing Ortiz's trainer in the face. Falling after Canelo's comeback fight with Angulo, Erislandy Lara bombed Canelo's post-fight press conference to call him out for a fight.
Buenas noches, quiero felicitarte por la gran pelea que tuviste, hiciste bien tu trabajo. Quiero felicitar también a tu equipo, también hicieron un buen trabajo y felicidades. Y quiero pedirte aquí frente a todos los que están aquí, que están seguros, que están locos por ver la pelea mía y tuya, y quisiera ver cuánto será la próxima pelea mía y tuya.
Canelo, obviously confused and irritated, questioned the media, does everyone really want to see this fight happen? In which no one responded but Lara's manager, which Canelo called him out for that as well.
¿Están locos por ver una pelea con él? Sí. Sí, tú eres su manager, ¿no? Tú nomás.
In the build-up to Hopkins Trinidad, Hopkins did the most savage thing, or in today's world, some amazingly edgy shit, by taking Tito's flag and throwing it down on the ground.
But I felt having 2 titles and Trinidad having 1, and I understand the popularity he had. But I'm the guy to beat for my 2 titles and my 8 or 9 defenses. And so I felt like, why should I place second and just let this promotion be just about Felix Trinidad because. So y'all gotta promote this equally.
Obviously, this is going to offend many people, regardless what country you take pride in. There's a saying, you make your bed, you sleep in it. Hopkins took this literally, and when it came to the press conference in Puerto Rico, many had showed up expecting Hopkins to apologize. Nope, he did neither. He took the flag and threw it down on the ground again.
The flag had to be put down to get their attention. So I had to grab their attention. And grabbing that attention was grabbing the media attention. And grabbing the media attention was to do something that they never thought that would be done because it was bold.
Knowing this may have been a huge mistake, Hopkins and his team had to make it out quickly as many angry fans were trying to go after him.
You don't punch nobody in the face in prison on the street and then say, I'm sorry. I wouldn't apologize. But we can go if y'all want to go. All hell broke out. The fight was won that evening or afternoon at the Rivalry Coliseum. Not actually because I put the flag down. It was won because they let me leave to come and fight him in New York City.
The fighter in the white takes a bite at his opponent, which was literally right in the view of the ref. Absolutely stupid. He didn't even try to be sneaky about it like Tyson. The fight comes to a halt, and then shortly later, the man cheap shots his opponent's trainer. Too bad his trainer has a chin, and he just ate it. I think it's at this moment here, this guy deserves anything awful to come his way. And it did, literally seconds later. After egging on the trainer to do something about it, well, he actually does something about it and cracks him with a perfect shot. You can't make a video like this without including the most macho man himself. Not that guy. Ricardo Mayorga. Mayorga wasn't all that savage in his trash talking in this clip, just doing the usual talk shit about someone's wife routine. Vargas, who easily gets hot-headed, bum rushed after Mayorga before the translator could even finish the translation for the non-Spanish speaking spectators.
I'm gonna give your wife a favor, I'm gonna do your wife a favor and not let her cry anymore after they disfigure every time that you go into the ring.
After Mayweather's dominating performance against Juan Manuel Marquez, HBO was really pressing for this fight to happen and started some old-fashioned drama by granting access for Shane Mosley to enter the ring and bomb Mayweather's interview, cause they really could care less what Mayweather has to say.
Al Heyman and Leonard Ellaby conduct my bouts, and then we'll go from there. I'm not scared of Shane Mosley. I'm not scared of no fight.
We just want to get it on. That's all. I mean, the fans want to see a great fight. Me and Money Mayweather. Let's get this on. Let's do it.
Well, it's like this. It's hey, wait. No.
All right, that's it. Hold on. Bernard, everybody calm down. Floyd. Shane, please. Floyd, let's concentrate here. Let's concentrate.
After the fiasco in the ring, to add on that this was not staged, behind the scenes tapes show Floyd complaining to Al Heyman about how Shane Mosley was allowed to bomb his interview.
Man, you know how these bitches is in the sport. Total disrespect. Kid has no class, no style at all.
It's real disrespectful, Al.
He was bogus as hell.
I'm doing my interview. They bringing everybody on. They bringing Shane Mosley in. When I hop in that one, trying to do my interview, man.
Bonus clip. The face-off of Mayweather-Mosley and Mayweather ranting about Mosley is just priceless entertainment. Good old days on 24/7. There will only be one.
I'm saying, whatever I say, I don't remember. You could refresh my memory, but I don't remember.
You said that I think you're a great fighter and I want to be just like you when I get up in the ranks.
Shane, I barely know who the you are. You mean I want to be like you? How I want to be like you? Come on, man. I'm the face of boxing. I'm the cash cow. I hold the record for pay-per-view. Me. For the highest gate. Me.
In the build-up to the rematch, Pascal comes out of nowhere stating that Hopkins is a cheater and he needs to take the test.
Are you willing to take the test? Are you willing to take the test?
Pascal, who was all up on him while making such an accusation, the Philly came out of Hopkins, and here we go. At the end of their HBO face-off, after the shoot was officially over, these guys were going at it. It was not as intense because this was shot before the fight week and the events that took place at the press conference, but it was to foreshadow what was going to happen down the road.
Don't break any bones before May 21st, all right?
Excellent, Johnson.
Don't break any bones.
This guy's tripping over. I need some, I'll pay for it. I need some, make sure he gets home safe, tucked in, give him some tea, give him some hot chocolate at night, some marshmallows.
Like
make
I said,
sure he
don't break any bones, old bones,
tripping all over stuff, man, and nervousness, and gonna break his neck.
Australian boxer Willis Meehan was putting in an absolute beatdown on his opponent. But after his opponent was in no shape or form able to put up any more fight against him, he wondered why the ref wasn't doing his job to protect the fighter. This is when Mayhem took it in his own power and called out the ref for doing a shit job.
Hard body shots. Big right hand, just teeing off on him. Stop! The ref comes in and that's it. This fight's all over. He was out on his feet. That is one tough guy because he still didn't drop him.
This is just absolutely random. Just came out of nowhere. The ringside reporter told Brewer what Freddie had on his scorecards.
BJ and Freddie both had it lopsided 4 crews.
And this was his response.
Freddie, pack y'all on steroids. I don't like giving hell Freddie talking about. I feel like I won, man. That's just it, man. I outboxed the kid. How you gonna win if you don't throw no punches? I give him 5 rounds. It's a 12-round fight. I give him 5. That mean I got 7. So I mean, you see the fight. Freddie, pack y'all on steroids, and he off it now. He don't look like shit. I'm out. Thanks, President.
So much on the line for this fight. This fight was for the undisputed junior welterweight title. After an amazing start by Judah, he lets his guard down briefly to get nailed by Zoo by a perfect shot. Judah does the worst thing of not waiting to get up and attempts immediately. This wasn't a good move and Judah was all over the place, which forced Nady to stop the fight. Judah, who felt like he was wronged, throws the corner stool in anger and charges after Nady, trying to choke him with his gloves still on.
We've got real problems here. Judah there trying to throw a punch at the referee, Jay Nady, and these are scenes we do not need.
Judah was fined $75,000 and suspended for 6 months. When promoting fights, it's mainly about business and having fun. Ali and Frazier was all for that, and they was having fun, till Ali went a little too far.
What difference? Why'd you bring up the hospital? I went to the hospital for why you figure out me? I went to the hospital for why you figure out me? Man, you know, sit down.
And that's when it became personal. Frazier wasn't having that, and neither was Ali, though he was the one who initiated it.
Sit down, Joe. Why you think I'm making? Sit down, Joe. Huh? Sit down quick. Why you think I'm making? The brothers are here. Doing this too? No, come on. Sit down quick, Joe.
The bell hadn't rang yet, and these guys were about to fight each other. This fight did not even make it into round 2. Bo cheap slaps Tillery. Tillery throws a slap himself, followed up with a Muay Thai leg kick to the groin. Bo is from Brownsville, Brooklyn. I think I already mentioned that from my previous video. He's not gonna let some dude kick him in a boxing ring and get away. Bo lays it on this guy as his manager, Rock Newman, starts grabbing Tillery by the neck and looks to be choking him as Bo is wailing away, to the point Tillery is knocked out the ring.
There's the bell, and now some X-Force. Oh, a little kickboxing by Elijah Tillery. Bo won't stand for that. Rock Newman, the manager of Riddick Bowe, and a tag team comes in, and Elijah Tillery does a 360, a spill out of the ring. Pandemonium in the ring at the end of round number 1.
After all that, though Bo clearly initiated the scuffle, hilariously, Tillery was disqualified for the quoted flagrant kick. Literally, the first 5 seconds into the fight.
In white trunks, he is going to come out headhunting.
I don't think you can call it a punch. Green sort of just guided his hand and it grazed Briggs, which just somehow drops Briggs to the ground and he's unable to continue. Given the fact that this was a pretty big fight in Australia and people spent good money for it, this could have ended in a riot, really.
Come on, boys. Let's take him to school. Oi! Oi! Oi!
We've got to get out of here.
Oh, but I want to do some rioting. Jobbers, cold milk, Jamaica! Hold on.
You can just see the disappointment in Green's face, and in the interview, he really had a lot to say, but he was doing his best to keep it classy.
No one's as pissed off as me, believe me. Not one person is as pissed as me. And I can't say sorry for that person He ain't even a canine. He's not even a canine. But Joe Rocky's got bigger balls than that, and Paul Briggs ain't getting paid a cent. He dogged it.
So this is the number one. Apparently, the tale of this memorable moment in boxing history is that Paulie and Broner orchestrated a bet that whoever wins, the winner keeps his side piece for the night. Cause you know, she comes in with the champ, she leaves with the champ.
Yeah, boy.
I don't know. So, during the post-fight interview, Broner decides to troll Paulie by announcing he took Paulie's girl, which was a big no. Then that led to the infamous side piece quote.
I'm good. I beat Paulie. I left with his belt and his girl.
Adrian, congratulations on winning the title. Paulie, come on in.
Hey, I'm just saying, you lost.
I know, but don't. Hold on, wait, but don't brag about taking my side piece. Don't brag about taking my side piece, though. That's my side piece. You don't get me.
All right.
Keep doing what you're doing right now.
In the Japanese boxing scene, something like this doesn't really exist, especially in the 90s. This guy must have been hella mad. Who knows what this dude did? He probably bragged about stealing a side piece or something. I don't know, but this was crazy.
Fennec, why don't you just jump in the ring so I can punish you like a man? You probably a woman too, because you're getting that much makeup backstage. It took you 10 minutes to get to the table, you know what I'm saying? I'm a man, I don't need no makeup, you're a woman.
Some good old Australian beef here. Going by the conversation here, the beef started because Mundine doesn't really do anything positive for the community. They had to fact check me on this one. Fennec called him out on that.
Well, I just want people to know what he's really about. I mean, he said that he supports Aboriginals.
So Fennec goes on to state that Mundine robbed a fellow person from the community of $7,000. Mundine denies such acts, then to be completely shut up by the reporter who confirmed the man who was robbed by Mundine says he did it.
I think that we made a phone call today, and it's public knowledge that he robbed another Aboriginal boy, Kevin Kelly, of $7,000.
I don't want to rob $7,000 of somebody that's my brother.
Anthony, we did talk to Kevin Kelly today, and right or wrong, he does claim that you owe him $7,000.
Well, can you please? I'll talk to Kevin myself. But anyway.
Fast forward years later, despite a fight never happening between Fennec and Mundine, Fennec goes on another media rant.
But you will never be who Jeff Fennec was. You will never win a fight or beat any fighters I fought of the quality that I fought. You will never be respected in the world of boxing. You will never ever in your life be in the Hall of Fame. You're in one hall, the Hall of Shame. That's where you'll always be, and that's where you belong.
Any Australians that are watching this, feel free to comment more to the backstory. This is an hilarious moment here. After Jones's dominating performance against Glenn Kelly, he goes on to narrate the highlights of Bernard Hopkins' fight earlier that day.
Add to the fact that Daniels ain't fought in 13 months. How did he get to be number 1 contender? He ain't even fought in 13 months. He got knocked out, I think, last time he fought when he fought Julio Cesar Vasquez, and Bernard Hopkins couldn't even knock him out. You got junior middleweights that was knocking down Felix Trinidad inside 4 rounds. It took him 11 rounds to do it. He cannot beat me. Quit, make him boost his head up. He want a payday, and he ain't finna retire with Roy Jones. Roy Jones smart than that. What's up, big?
Then after that, he goes on to call out Antonio Tarver, who's standing right in front of him behind the cameras.
I'll say, he wouldn't think much of your opponent either. Well, he ain't got to. He was undefeated. It's better than his opponent. My opponent ain't had no loss in his record. He just got one. What's up, Tarver? Matter of fact, I might fight Antonio Tarver next time. He deserves a shot quick. Because he's standing 9 feet away over there, right? That's right. I'll fight. Antonio Tarver's an awfully big light heavyweight. I don't give a damn. That was a big one I fought. Now, I don't give a damn.
Pazienza throws a punch after the bell, which it looked like it landed awfully low.
And that's it.
Obviously, Roger is going to reply back with something. Then out of nowhere, Lou Duva storms into the ring, trying to get a piece of Mayweather. From the looks of it, Roger landed a 2-piece combo on Duva, cutting and bruising him upon impact before being pulled away. Duva, with that angry old man adrenaline rush energy, rushes back to Roger, blindingly, to catch more of those hands, before he was pulled away by a fellow team member.
Frustration on Lou Duva. He just charged after Roger Mayweather when Mayweather had thrown one more punch after the bell.
So we got a Dollar General brand, Ice Cube, fighting against a great value Mike Tyson, with G-Unit written on his boxing robe. Commentators state that the great value Tyson, there is something wrong with him, mentally, coming into the fight, and they won't be surprised to see a disqualification, which is not even a good thing to hear if you had to pay money to watch this fight. In the interview, he states that he doesn't like boxing anymore, and if someone hits him in the back of the head one more time, he will make them pay. So guess what happens? He gets hit on the top of the head, then behind the head, and completely flips out.
And he's mad. Yeah, he is. And he just went right after him. And threw him down. You know what? You said this earlier, that you wouldn't be surprised to see a DQ. And it looks like Kozer is trying to do that.
This is all of the result of that hitting behind the head. He said he was not going to take that, and if that happened anymore, it was going to be case.
You gotta give it to this man here. Not many fighters live up to what they say that they're gonna do, hyping up the fight. And this man gives what the fans didn't want to see.
You know, I would never continue in this business after my career. Yes. And if anybody hits me in the back of the head anymore, that he is going to make that person pay.
Yo, he just flipped out. I think he felt some heat. That's what happened.
Fought like a coward. Bottom line is a coward. Only cowards feel like that.
I told you, and when you go, I go.
Briggs goes on a huge campaign of following Klitschko everywhere to get a fight with him.
Now you see me, I'm everywhere, baby. Everywhere you go, I go. Everything you do, I do. I'm the champ, and you the chump. Make a wave, dog. Make a wave. What's up, champ? You okay? You okay, buddy? Yeah. Oh, he mad.
This is possibly two of the most hilarious encounters involving him and Klitschko. I highly recommend you go and watch his podcast with Joe Rogan, where he goes in full detail how he pulled off some of the best trolling I've seen in the sport in a long time. I can't really explain what happened here. This dude straight jumps in the ring. Who knows for what reason.
Amazing record. Think of it. And look at this fella in the ring. How did he get in the ring? He's upper, screen right. A young man with gray shorts.
This happened in the first round. Homeboy here just chilling in a bootleg karate stance. And somehow it took a hot minute for police to arrive. When they did storm in, they completely manhandled him. Straight picked him up like an unfolded iron board and threw him out the ring.
Rough stuff. Now he is dragged out and they almost have to drag him because he wasn't going to budge. Well,
they did not ruin this classic battle between Carlos Zarate and Alfonso Zamora.
But over screen right, here's referee Richard Steele. Oh, and there is the father, the fellow screen right with the glasses, held now far screen right by the officers, now screen left.
This was the most highly anticipated episode to this series.
No hay nada. Está limpio, por eso. Lo único es que yo he cargado mi derrota como un hombre. No te preocupes, por eso. Así lo tienes que sostener. Yo te gané bien. Mira, yo te gané bien. ¿Eso no está roto ahí? Mira los vendajes cuando se lo llevaron. Simplemente gasa. Mira los vendajes cuando se lo llevaron. El vendaje simplemente gasa. Y no hay nada, no hubo nada y no va a haber nada.
Besides Maypack, which that never happened. Kodo had a lot of anger bottled up and many questions to be asked upon first coming face to face with Margarito since their first fight, which ended in controversy.
Simplemente soy limpio. Ok, aquí están los vendajes. Ok, ¿dónde está? No está roto. ¿Dónde está roto? Ok. El rojo. Sí. Tú estás diciendo los rotos. Los rotos lo repararon. No, ¿cómo van a reparar? No. El blanco jamás va por encima del rojo. Lo que sea. Necesitas fuerza para vencer. Y la tengo. Entonces, ¿cuál es el problema? Ninguno. Entonces, simplemente ¿qué estás alegando entonces?
Kodo backed Margarito up into a corner, calling him out on his dishonorable act of loading his hand wraps. Judging by Margarito's expression at the end here, he knew he had messed up, fumbling his words what Cotto was going to do in the fight.
10 semanas para demostrarlo. Exactamente, entonces demuestra ahí, ¿para qué estás hablando? Demuéstrala ahí. Así será. Entonces, así será. Entonces, demuéstrala ahí, no hables. Así va a ser. Espero verlo y sentirlo. Jamás.
Mayweather has given Broner a lot of knowledge when it comes to handling his career, doing the right thing, and get the most out of boxing. So Broner has a feud over Mayweather about some dumb stuff, not even worth noting. Mayweather, who was attending the fight because his fighter was fighting Broner, Broner picked out this perfect opportunity to call out Floyd.
Me and Floyd, he gotta see me. Now I'm a man at the end of the day. I'm a man at the end of the day. And I come from the streets, the trenches, man. From the bottom, from nothing. I'm talking about water and cornflakes.
Hey. What are you doing? I'm throwing this away. We ain't even got no milk. You better put some water on that damn shit.
I come from nothing. And I will never let a man disrespect me like that. So he gotta see me. I don't care if we spar or we fight. Let's get it on.
Spawning one of the many memes which will slowly but surely make him more famous in boxing.
I actually went there, like, maybe I shouldn't do nothing, but my ghetto side was going, yo, stomp this motherfucker out right here. What's wrong with him?
So this happened on, my opinion, the best season of the Contender series. So there was some whispers that Vera wanted to fight Codrington, and he was considered easy work. Codrington heard about it and walked up on Vera and called him out on the spot.
Pack your bags, homie. Pack your bags, homie. What you want to do right now? You going home. You going home. You ain't sending nobody home. You going home, I promise you ain't sending nobody home. You going home, son. I promise you ain't sending nobody home. Son. Don't promise me. Nobody. No, you going home, son. I ain't worried about you, baby. I ain't worried about you. You going home, son. I ain't worried about you. I ain't worried about you. You be terrified, huh? Don't be terrified of you. You think you can beat me, yo? You can't beat me.
Then for it to escalate pretty quickly to where fighters had to be restrained.
You see J-Don start, you can't beat me. You know, I'm like, damn, this guy is Al Cappuccino, so I don't really think he thought he was.
The fight between the two was set up later that episode. After a pretty nice scrap, J-Don will go into stopping Vera in round 2. AIBA and the IOC are incredibly corrupt organizations. Despite the AIBA doing a poor attempt of damage control over the years, this incident here really put the AIBA under the magnifying glass of mainstream sports media. So Conlon got robbed on the scorecards, and you know, we've seen some awful robberies, far worse during the games in boxing, and fighters really tried to remain calm. And that's good and all, but that's what these shitty officials and guys upstairs want you to do, because news on this is just gonna blow away over the following week and be forgotten at the end of the year. Colin did something that will forever be remembered in Olympic boxing and in the Olympics. He flicked off all the officials.
Nikitin has taken it on a unanimous points decision, and Michael Conlon of Ireland is distraught in there.
Then followed up with this classic interview that millions of people saw.
That's here to win Olympic gold. My dream's been shattered now. But you know what? I have a big career ahead of me. And these ones, they're known for being cheats, and they'll always be cheats. Amateur boxing stinks. From the core right to the top.
This got worldwide attention, and it did not blow over like the previous controversial incidents. They kept on doing what they were originally doing in the past. But this time, due to the worldwide attention, they had actual eyes following them. And in 2019, there was enough evidence gathered. They got hit with a shitstorm. Now, Colin said it stinks straight to the core, right up to the top. In 2019, the top guy stepped down, but he is free to step back in as a head later that year. Wow, what a punishment to give yourself. Also, to add on to this person, he is under sanctions by the United States Treasury for being tied to heroin trafficking. So many red flags here, like, holy crap, man. It's to where the IOC is forced to do something, and they did. In June, they have removed the AIBA of any role of running boxing for the Olympics that is coming up. Well, coming later. I highly recommend everyone to watch HBO Real Sports Special with Ryan Gumbel on the IOC. Sports journalism at its finest. During the climax of Rotman vs. Moskaev, when Rotman was knocked out the ring, as officials are trying to tend to Rotman, you can see Smoker just chilling there, you know, just mentally registering what has just happened. And bam! A chair straight up smacks him over the head. Like, what crazy man thought it was necessary to chuck a chair? Who was he aiming for? Now, Smoker was definitely caught in the crossfire of the chair, but what was this mysterious chair chucker aiming to hit? Was he actually trying to hit Rotman as he laid on the ground? It seems to me, after all these years, the world would never know. This guy is quite of a character. He has absolutely no chill at all. I'm just gonna review his best bits. So during the Galata versus Ruiz fight, right after the round, there was some extra punching after the bell, and Stone comes running out, not towards the fighters, but straight towards the trainer, pushes him, and from the looks of it, threatens to punch him. Randy Newman, who was the referee, had a lot of patience for this guy. I met Randy. Nice guy. Class act. I can't really name a soul who would have put up with Stone that night.
Nobody in the sport more aggressively protects their fighter or thinks they aggressively protect their fighter like Norman.
You gotta love Norman. Yeah, except his record is 0-1 because of...
But anyways, Newman warned Stone if he made one more outburst, he will be removed from the corner.
You're not doing your job. You're not doing your job.
What is the referee supposed to do for the fighter?
No excuses. You look like shit.
So Stone handed Newman the mouthpiece to put into Ruiz's mouth, which is really not even his job. Newman tells him, "You do it." And Stone makes a sly remark that Newman heard.
And jerk off.
Resulting him to remove Stone, relegating him to view the fight from the locker room.
That's our Stoney.
Wait a minute. He's ordering Stone out of the corner.
I'll sue you for every thing you got, you.
What a class act.
Everything. What did I say to him? I didn't say a word to him.
I did not watch this fight. Valuev won by a majority decision, so maybe Stone thought his guy was robbed, and right when he had the chance, he did his perfect Shooter McGavin impression and snatched the title away from Valuev and made a beeline across the ring while yelling obscenities at Valuev and his team.
Beim Kampf gegen hat sich den Gürtel genommen und hält ihn hoch.
What looks to be Valuev's trainer grabs him, headbutts him first, then punches him in the face. One hell of a combo right there. Then the title was returned back to Valuev. Now Zelenov his whole life, he's been signing L's for many years. And thanks to his fame alone, he somehow found himself in the gym sparring Floyd Mayweather Sr. Seemed to be positive vibes, Floyd Sr. being easy, having fun, and I think the spectators are in good spirit. Laughs and smiles watching this play out. In the beginning, it looked like one of those feel-good videos. Floyd Sr. showing off his speed and defense, and all was going well.
He's running, no. We
And then the first punch landed to the face of Charlie. And remember guys, Charlie's a body boxer. So Charlie, the coward he is, took a fake knee and slipped out of the ring. As Mayweather Sr. let off and turned his back, Charlie comes up behind and sucker punches Floyd Sr., completely killing the vibe in the room, resulting in Charlie to catch a beating from the spectating gym mates. Paulie goes off the rails after losing a very controversial decision against Juan Diaz.
I don't know why Houston is booing me. You guys are a great fight town, man. I didn't have nothing wrong, nothing against Houston, man. It ain't nothing against you guys, man, but I had to deal with a lot of politics, man. That was ridiculous. I knew I was gonna have to deal with this. I'm telling you, this state never gives a fair shake to anybody coming to this state to fight hometown fighters. It never happens. All the way back to Whitaker Chavez.
Gary Van Hoy scored the fight 118-110. Wow, just wow. So Paulie goes in.
Boxing is full of shit, man. I cannot stand doing this. The only reason I do this is because it gives me a good payday. Boxing is full of shit.
Paulie, assuming you don't get the rematch,
one can go call out the winner of Marquez and Mayweather or the winner of another big fight. I don't have that luxury because I got robbed, so I'm on the short end of the stick.
What he said at the end, he was for the most part right. Though he did get the rematch with Diaz and won just months later, Diaz still went on to fight Marquez right after that. Marquez, who was coming off the loss against Floyd Mayweather. So in some ways, the winner of Diaz-Malignaggi fights the loser in a big money bout, which that was what Paulie was trying to get. That wasn't over. This carried onto the post-fight press conference where Paulie went in even further.
118, 110 is Gail Van Hoy was dicking it to me. You know what I'm saying? Excuse my French, okay? But he bent me over and okay? Because I said before the fight, this guy does not ever go against a Texas fighter in the state of Texas. Gail Van Hoy just filled out his scorecard on purpose and said, Paulie Malignaggi because he talks shit and I'm doing this scorecard, alright? I don't even know if keeps getting jobs. Yeah, I mean, seriously. That's why this sport has no popularity left. Nobody watches this shit because every year there's decisions like this and probably even worse than this.
This was beyond a weird moment here. So, out of all the things to do during a face-off, Mayfield decides to lick Delorme's chest. Just absolute cringe here. I'm surprised Delorme didn't clock him right there.
That's about it. That's about it. That's about it.
So Bo was clearly losing the fight, but Galata could not stop low-blowing Bo. He was given one last chance, and what he does next, low blows Bo again. The fight is stopped, Galata is disqualified, and then a riot breaks out in the ring. Then as the riot breaks out in the ring, a riot breaks out in the stands, and it turns into absolute mayhem. This was a historic moment in security detailing at the Madison Square Garden and sporting events in general. It really changed after this fight. When the riot broke out, there was no real presence of security. The detail then, compared to the detail compared to today, is like comparing them to movie theater mall security.
In the beginning, there was no security at all. There was a couple of guys in their 60s trying to stop guys in their 20s.
Police arrived to the venue 23 minutes after the riot had ended. 22 people were injured and only 14 arrests were made. A perfect example to compare how security have completely changed over the years when it comes to combating situations like this and preventing riots is a McGregor versus Khabib fight. The fight was at the T-Mobile Center. I've worked plenty of fights there and the security detail on the floor do an amazing job. These guys have thought of everything and planned out every scenario in the book and they are ready. Security right when it happened, they dispersed quickly, immediately assessed the scuffle outside the cage and inside the cage, and it was over within 15 seconds. If the McGregor-Khabib event happened 20 years ago, easily a riot. Now this was absolutely wild. Beef and a juicy promotion was brewing up between David Haye and Derek Chisora. Haye bombs Chisora's press conference for the Klitschko fight. Chisora leaves the stage and runs up on Haye, and what we see here is not scripted at all. Haye clocks Chisora with an elbow, then follows up to land a punch while having a beer bottle in his hand, adding onto the damage. Those were some hard blows, and I'm quite shocked Chisora stood up to all of that. That elbow alone would have laid someone out. After the scuffle ends and Haye retreats out, absolutely angry, Chisora delivers a Hollywood-style monologue about what he's going to do with Haye if he can't get this fight.
We're doing the ring or outside the ring, yeah? You let me know how you want to do this because I want it, yeah? If David don't fight me, Adam, I'm telling you, God on the strip, yeah? I'm going to physically, yeah? Burn him. So you tell him I say that. His entourage ain't got nothing on my entourage, and you make sure I'm going to find him.
Tyson was asked during the fight week of Mayweather-Pacquiao what he thought about Floyd's comments on saying he was greater than Muhammad Ali.
What do you think about Floyd talking about greater than Ali?
He's very delusional. He can't listen. If he was anywhere near that realm of greater than Ali, he'd be able to take his kids to school by himself.
Tyson, who is an incredible boxing historian.
The government made a law to trap Jack Johnson. It was called the Mann Act. And they used it to catch Jack Johnson, and that was the law, is taking women beyond state line for immoral purposes. And that's what he got arrested for. But how could you not, being ostracized your whole entire life? His mother was a slave, his father was a slave. He came a long way in life. He's a really remarkable man.
Looked up to Ali and was one of his best friends. Took this to offense.
Greatness is not guarding yourself from the people. Greatness is being accepted by the people. He can't take his kids alone to school by himself. He's a little scared man. He's a very small, scared man.
There you go. Thank you, sir.
We find out what greatness is. Greatness is not necessarily accomplishments, but how you deal with adversity. I'm just always watching him, learning. One day I'll be in that situation, and I'd like to see how I will handle that. Will I handle it as graceful as he would, or will I just be a
Since Hopkins was not supposed to get to where he was at that point in his career and defied the powers that be and came in as one of the best, a real wild card among the talent in the division.
That's enough. Yes. That's enough.
He saw a lot of corruption in the sport and how he was being played behind closed doors.
And a lot of corruption that's in boxing, and I'm willing to take a stand as a champion. Roy Jones Jr. is a great fighter, but somehow he don't have the same champion style or the same champion character when he step out of the ring and stand up for fighters that's being mistreated and being exploited as. It's a shame that fighters go in the ring that don't even have life insurance, and they go in the ring like me and Mr. Allen and risk our lives for something we love. The structure of the business is taking advantage of everybody that's on my side as a fighter. Not on my side as agreeing with me, but on my side as an athlete. I am the athlete. I'm on the other side of the table.
A frustrated Hopkins took full advantage of the extra airtime on Showtime since he finished the fight early to address these issues and called out the media.
Talk about the fight first, Bernard.
It took 9 months. The fight is not really important.
Well, it is to our audience. It is to our audience.
I knew I could beat
particularly
this
after
guy.
the first fight.
When
Just talk about Robert Allen and what went on in the second round.
When the politics put me on the shelf for 9 months waiting for a mandatory that's supposed to took place in 90 days after January 31st of 1998, and it didn't take place until August. You tell me, is it corruption in the sport? And then you tell me, let's talk about Robert Allen. That fight is over with. It's done. That's tomorrow. It's you and the other people in the industry that sits back and see, not criticize. And I'm not saying that you are the fault. I'm saying that you are outside looking in. Y'all know what goes on in the sport.
Bernard, you've had to say it's your piece, but a lot of people out there who would be listening to this would say, you don't have to fight. You don't have to be taken advantage of. You don't have to go along with the system if you're unhappy with it.
Listen what I'm saying. That when things happen, doesn't mean that if I'm not happy with it, that don't mean I should quit and get out of business because I'm not happy with it. I'm a guy that stand up for what's right. And there's a lot of people that's in their grave and got assassinated for standing up for what they believe is right. You might have thought they were silly for doing it. I don't know your opinion on that.
No, I'm asking questions. Hold up, I'm not giving you an opinion.
You telling me I shouldn't be in the sport if I don't agree with the laws and the politics that goes in the sport, and I say you're wrong. I say that's the problem.
What are you going to do to change it?
I can't do nothing in one day, but what I can do by being hold up. It's very important about my power. By being the middleweight champion of the world, one of the best in the world. If you don't want to listen, you would give me that time. That's the reason you're doing this interview now. Thank you.
A while back, I had someone translate this to me because I didn't understand why Chavez was so mad. So after Chavez's rematch with Oscar De La Hoya, Chavez was having his post-fight interview in the locker room. The translator at that time with HBO is Puerto Rican. Now, I don't speak Spanish, but I do know some words may vary in meaning just based on dialect and slang, just like Japanese. Someone from Osaka, their dialect of Japanese is completely different from an Okinawan dialect. I had my grandmother, an Okinawan, help me with my homework. The teacher from Tokyo marked a lot wrong, and some words he didn't even know. I had to break the news to him that I didn't do the homework. She did, and once he found out where she was from, he understood. Luckily, I didn't get in trouble, and I learned my lesson. That all being said, Larry was carefully using his words not to offend Chavez.
We can remember when you made outstanding fighter like Mayweather quit the fight. It seemed to us that in this fight, De La Hoya made you quit in the corner. Are you disappointed in that, or did your handlers not allow you to come out?
But the translator was not on the same page and used a direct translation in his dialect using the word rajastas, which translates to Chavez's dialect, out, an incredibly offensive word to use on a guy like Chavez, and Chavez flipped out.
Espera, él está diciendo, te está preguntando. No, tú tampoco, ¿no qué? No, te está diciendo él. Suéltame la mano. Perdón. No, que si le. Yo nunca me rajé. No, eso es lo que te pregunto. Tú,
So I explained in my most outstanding performance by a referee video. Both guys are incredibly rough how they fight, stylistically. Some may say dirty. Either way, as stated before the match by the HBO crew, Jack Reese has his hands full tonight, and he sure did from the opening bell. This is make or break here, and if the referee does not get the respect from the fighters, they're just gonna run all over him, which it almost got to that as Reese was trying to break up both guys and got punched in the process. Reese had had enough, and he was completely disrespected by both fighters. To bring order back in the ring, he paused the match, told officials he was struck,
I got hit. You gotta take a second.
The ref said he got hit.
I got intentional fouls.
then penalized Rodriguez and Ward 2 points. There is a clear reason why he penalized both guys 2 points. The next offense that happens will result into a disqualification, and neither will receive their purse.
I am not going to allow this. You're instigating a lot of this, and I'm not putting up with it. Not only that, you're hitting me, okay? Andre, I'm not going to allow this, okay? This is what I got. Stay right there. We're not done. Stay right there. 2 points. Unsportsmanlike conduct. Stop. I know, relax. I'd like to fine both of them. You determine what it is.
This was Ward's comeback fight after being out with a shoulder injury, so you know he will like to have some of that money back. I don't care how rich you are, a capital loss like that hurts. And Rodriguez loses his career high $800,000 purse, which it originally was $1 million, but he didn't make weight, so $200K of that went to Ward. Either way, he was losing a life-changing purse if the silly roughhousing keeps up.
Okay, I just want you both to know I've recommended fines. If I have to disqualify you guys, nobody's getting paid. We understand each other? We understand? Okay, knock this shit off. Okay? Go back.
And you didn't hear a peep from those guys the rest of the match. Nothing but clean boxing, straightforward to the end. A lot on the line for this fight. Whoever wins goes on to fight Lennox Lewis. Cheney was on his way, making a third successful defense of his EBU title when French and English fans began fighting each other at the beginning of the 12th round.
And I'm afraid these are the kind of scenes we do not want. We now have, these are the kind of scenes that are an absolute disgrace, of course. Boxing definitely doesn't need this. Now Williams and Cheney getting together and they're saying, look, we're mates. We might be having a fight in there for a title and there's mutual respect between the fighters. Now that's good to see. That's a sensible example to show to the crowd and things.
The officials almost literally threw out the fight altogether, but luckily they decided to let it go on. The fight finished and Cheney won by unanimous decision. During the height of the fight to free South Africans, Don King joined a boycott organization led by Arthur Ashe called Artists and Athletes Against the Apartheid. While doing that, King is doing the complete opposite of showing his support and being a role model by trying to get one of his fighters to fight in South Africa.
How did Don justify your fighting in South Africa?
First, he wanted me to go. He said, this is a big opportunity for you fighting for the heavyweight championship of the world. And I said, nah, but a whole lot of people gonna be mad at me, and I wouldn't want that. So I got up, and I started walking downstairs, and Don came right behind me. Oh, he said, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you, Teddy Bear, what you did. He said, that's the right thing you did, turn the fight down going to South Africa. And I'm saying, yeah, right, yeah.
Stated by the IBF president, South African promoter reportedly paid Don King $1 million to have the fight there.
Bob Lee is president of the International Boxing Federation.
Well, according to the promoter in South Africa, he paid Don King $1 million for that fight.
Word reached home, and Arthur Ashe forced Don King to resign from the organization. Don King was called out by the immoral business practices in South Africa and flipped.
We made 3 appointments with you to give you another thing. As far as I'm concerned, you're a scumbag. I don't have no use for you at all. You may be the greatest and you think you're the greatest, but to me, to you as a man to man, you are nothing. You are dirt, and I just walk around you to keep them stepping in. So you don't have to worry about me. So I don't have no use for you, Jack Newfield. I thought I could do it at an arm's length transaction. But for a scumbag like you, Jack Newfield, that is prejudice. You don't have no right to do what you do.
The reporter that called him out got his press credentials revoked.
Take this man's tape out of his camera.
The argument spilled out into the hallway when King's men tried to take the videotape out of our camera.
You guys are kidding out. I want the tape out of this camera. This is a private property.
Then to be threatened by Don King's son.
King's stepson Carl also tried to intervene.
I ain't gonna be as nice as my father.
Murat was picking a bone with referee Steve Smoger the whole night. I don't think I've seen a ref so fed up and irritated with someone.
Hands as we go to round 6, and there was a right chance to jump right back on him and test his stamina at his age. You're on the edge of getting thrown out of here. It's enough of your shit.
At the end of the 12th, Murat had the audacity to use some of the most blatant headbutts in boxing history since like Mayweather Ortiz. And Smoger had enough and straight up shoves Murat in the face, which I'm pretty sure that's illegal, but who cares? He deserved it, every bit of it.
And he'd also hit, yeah, and also he, oh my, okay, Steve Smoger.
Awkward tensions were building up between the two towards the end of Naseem Hamed's contract with HBO. I don't think George truly appreciated the narrative HBO was trying to put, despite promoting the matchup. Sanchez was Naseem's mandatory opponent, only one loss on his resume.
Augie Sanchez comes in here after so many people turned down the fight. Marco Antonio Barrera and Derek Morales, noteworthily, neither of them really ready to take this fight. There were at least 4 other better-known fighters who turned down the opportunity to be here. So here comes Sanchez.
The appearance of this fight is that it's a kind of tune-up for another Prince tune-up.
Sanchez had his moments, dropping Hamed, making the fight exciting early on.
Down goes Naseem. I thought it was a clean knockdown. That's gonna be raw. And another big left hook by Sanchez. And Naseem Sanchez lands another left hook here. They trade left hook.
Till Hamed was able to finish him in the 4th. In the HBO script, they decided to downplay the quality of the matchup and pressure Naz into fighting Barrera or Morales, which he was already looking to fight either of the guys in the first place.
This is some kind of champion who sits and offers his title available and all the contenders say no. It's unheard of, and for good reasons. He has power in both hands and he has the eyes of an eagle.
Did this kid belong in the ring with you?
You seen the guy knock me down. You seen the guy give me problems in some of the rounds. How can you say, of course he should have been in. He's only lost one fight. He's got the same knockout percentage as me. Don't tell me about should he be in the ring with me.
So George was the only guy who spoke positive on Nas and decided to stick off the script and call out Larry Merchant for the silly question.
Larry asked, as far as I'm concerned, the most profound question. In the long run, was this guy supposed to be in the ring with him?
Right.
You know, it took a lot of nerve, but he did ask that, and I'm proud of him for doing it.
Well, hey, listen, and I give Naz credit for being sportsmanlike enough to give all the credit he possibly could to Augie Sanchez within the interview.
Yeah, but
he
Larry,
didn't belittle him.
Pretty brave, Larry.
All right, well, let's...
Good question.
Larry returns back to the HBO booth where he gives his final words, further downplaying the event and cracking a joke here and there.
I think that it's an illusion that Augie Sanchez belonged in the same ring. Augie Sanchez did not have the record of opponents to fight Naz and have a serious chance to be competitive. He was, as it turned out, I believe, a tune-up for what is going to be another tune-up in Naz's next fight.
When Jim comes in for his words, you can hear Foreman going off in the background. Unfortunately, I can't make up what he said as his mic was turned off. Jim just brushes it off and gives Foreman a snarky remark.
Well, don't tell him that. Tell him only Barrera and Morales can give him serious opposition. Yeah, all right.
So fast forward to the Hamed versus Barrera fight. They were absolutely waiting for this moment to say whatever about this man. But Jim decided to be very edgy and bring religion into this. George, who is an incredibly religious person, loves all people, and his most notable best friend is Muslim. George took this to great offense and called out Jim almost immediately.
12 rounds you've seen here suggest that knows how to spell Barrera. B-A-R-R-E-R-A.
You
should be cool on that.
After the bell rung, it was sort of an awkward silence, just crowd noise till the replays of the final round were pulled up. As the replays were pulled up and it showed Barrera pushing Hamed into the ring post, Jim asked George, I don't think he likes Hamed. George, obviously still mad, called out Jim once again. Jim sort of losing his words as it just came to his head that was a mistake.
I don't think he likes him, George. I don't think you like him much yourself, Jim. I like him fine. I think I have no problem with that. You said some things I don't think you like the guy. You should be careful yourself.
You got the other one?
Since this was 2001, before social media, not many people wrote about it in the paper, and the fact that 310,000 people bought the pay-per-view, Jim was able to broadcast another day. The following week after the fight, during the rebroadcast, everything regarding Hamed's religion was edited out. Just before the start of the fight, Jim's outbursts and George calling him out was completely removed.
You've seen here suggest that knows how to spell Barrera. B-A-R-R-E-R-A. You should be cool on that.
It was obviously edited out, even the final round replays. It straight cuts to Buffer's final announcement. So if you were the 1+ million that tuned in to watch the rebroadcast because you didn't buy the fight, you most likely never saw or heard anything. During the third round, the HBO crew was trying to get Emmanuel Stewart to agree on their statements, when Stewart gave an already great analysis what was happening.
Man is going to throw punches. But I don't get a certain point, you start getting a little frustrated still when you're throwing punches and really for clean punches yourself, you're not landing anything. To me still, the effective punches are from Clottey.
Pacquiao is outthrowing Clottey by a large sum. They're not landing, but it's scoring. But Clottey is landing the much more effective shots, despite it not being many. They continue to annoy him to where he raised his voice to shut him up.
I see different. I see Clottey landing the straight punches, the clean punches.
Perhaps Emmanuel, but he threw 27 and landed 5 in the last round. But Manny threw 96.
I said Manny's winning the fight, but I'm saying the clean, effective punches are still, to me, coming from Clottey. There's not enough of them. It's not enough.
More to Stewart's credit, Clottey was landing beautifully on Pacquiao in the third. That went unaccounted for by the rest of the crew. So we already know about the beef coming into the fight between De La Hoya and Vargas, but what about in the post-fight? In a detailed account by Oscar in a 2012 Japanese documentary on his entire career, he discussed what happened in the post-fight. Oscar had gotten one of his favorite restaurants to close it off privately just so they can meet up, have something to eat, and squash their beef.
Even after the fight, I mean, he didn't shake my hand to congratulate me, he just left the ring. And so the following week after the fight, I decided to call his people and I told them, look, I want to have a meeting with Vargas so we can, make peace and just get along. And so he agreed.
And before they can even sit down and order some food, the unexpected happens. Till this day, I don't know if they're on better terms or it was finally squashed for good.
And I'm waiting for him. And so 10 minutes later, he walks in with sunglasses. It's during the day. And the first thing he tells me, and I stand up to give him my hand, the first thing he tells me is, you didn't beat me. You didn't beat me. I want the rematch. And I said to myself, oh my gosh, here we go. And so he was just talking, I need the rematch and I want the rematch and I don't like you. And I said, Vargas, I tried, thank you, and I walked away.
This is in the build-up to the Mayweather-Guerrero fight. Robert's dad has absolutely no chill and just goes off on Mayweather, calling him all sorts of things, making it one of the more memorable moments of the whole event.
That's bullshit, baby.
Let me,
say that. He talks about my son.
Possibly one of the dirtiest and the most confusing fights I've seen. Dude throws a shoulder at him, blatant foul. Then later they are having a battle of who can get in the most rabbit punches. The ref steps right in, while Yamaguchi complains to the ref. He then pushes Rios. Rios spits at him. A little bit of a commotion happens right after the bell. At the start of the next round, the ref put a pause to the fight, and he was like, you know what? This fight is over. I'm disqualifying both of you. This resulted in a no contest. Hilariously, both guys hugged it out like absolutely nothing happened when the results came in.
De raíz y quiere que le diga una cosa, esto iba a empeorar.
Y el abrazo ahora.
Y ahora se abraza.
So in the final presser, this turned from Broner versus Vargas, where Broner is trash-talking Vargas.
Bradley, you lost. When you stepped up, you fought Pacquiao, you lost. So shut that shit up, Chad. So what I'm saying is this. I don't want to hear nothing. Quit talking about all the losses. You ain't them.
Then to Broner versus Ellerby very quickly.
Him right here, Leonard Ellerby against me. They with this ass. Leonard a bitch too.
First off, you don't disrespect me like that.
Man, shut up. I'm a real one. I'm a real one.
And this isn't about me. You guys got to fight.
Yeah,
on Saturday night.
Shut that soft ass.
And the best man
Shut
to win.
that soft. That's some shit. Shut that soft. All that soft talking. I know you can do it, man. You got the. Man, shut that shit up, man. You ain't with me.
After going off on Ellerby, Broner made one last statement.
They want AB to go out. They want me to lose this fight, go up under the rug, and never be talked about again. I'm not losing to no Jesse Vargas, man. Y'all got me f***ed up.
So this is crazy here. It all started from a rabbit punch. Dude's team member jumps into the ring apron and grabs his head. Looked like he tried poking his eyes. Then the other fighter's trainer runs up in there throwing dragon kung fu kicks, turns around and yeets Salisbury in the face. Then the ref himself starts fighting Tamelkov's trainer, and hilariously after the fight was sort of broken up, the ref runs over and socks the team member who had nothing to do with the scuffle in the first place. Goes over and announces Salisbury as the winner.
Sensational finishes to any fight in Australian recent history.
So this was single-handedly started up by Danny Garcia's dad, Angel Garcia. It was just an anomaly of slurs, which I have to leave these clips on mute. Go see for yourself on the original video, shot by T Street Controversy. So Jose gets a very late hit after the bell. Darrell was unable to continue and Jose was disqualified. I would like to note that this was the second time in the fight where Jose got a hit in after the bell when Darrell's guard was down.
Round two. Oh, and a late punch after the bell.
I like that warning.
This is also the second time Darrell was knocked out by a foul in this fashion.
That's a foul, and if he's knocked out, Abraham should be disqualified.
So this caused a mini scuffle outside the ring with security, which in this type of situation, it's maybe best to keep everyone besides the trainer out the ring. After Darrell was able to get up, Darrell goes over to Jose and his team just to say, I'm okay, and forgave them. Being a true sportsman, no bad feelings. As Darrell is walking back to his corner, one of Darrell's team members snuck over to Jose's side and snuffed him in the jaw when he wasn't paying attention. Due to YouTube's guidelines, especially since what was committed is a crime itself, I cannot show the actual punch. You can easily Google the replay, so this is right before he threw it. Jose's mouth was wide open, which is the last thing you want to have when you get hit. Darrell's team member, which was his uncle, stepped in and threw with all of his might, landing perfectly on the jaw. I'm actually surprised Jose's jaw held up the way it did. In the post-fight, Darrell's uncle got very lucky in this situation. He was facing 2 felony charges, first and second degree assault, $2,500 fine, plus 10 years in prison. I think due to the context of the situation, having a good lawyer plus the WBC and athletic commissions suspended and applied some form of disciplinary actions on him, the charges were ultimately dropped and reduced to just a misdemeanor. A lot of bad blood between the two coming into fight week, mainly due to Vargas. Vargas doing a lot of ball breaking during the final presser.
38 years old. He's a grandpa. That man is a grandpa, my brother. And come on, I don't know nothing about New York City. You're a Cali boy.
And in weigh-in day, Zapata and his team finally snapped, causing a bit of a brawl on stage. Now you do have your stage moments, but I feel like it's definitely far less likely to happen at a weigh-in, especially anywhere below heavyweight, because fighters during fight week are pretty moody people for a very good reason. Coming into fight week, these guys are literally fasting themselves of food and liquids before weighing in, and depending on your tolerance, it can make you quite an angry person. So besides Vargas being a complete ass leading up to the weigh-in, is further amplified when that is taken into consideration. So without context here, you probably think that this fighter is scared and disqualifies himself from exiting the ring once the bell is rung. In reality, Harper was getting screwed, and this was him making his statement. Harper never received a contract signed by the fight promoter. He also was not told the fight will be televised. They tried shortchanging him and paid him a fee that a fighter would receive if the fight was not being broadcasted. He should have been making way more than $6,000, including flight, per diem, and hotel stay. Harper only received the flight, per diem, and hotel. Boxing is a full-time job. There is many roles in this sport, especially for the fighters. Harper's job is to give young, up-and-comer boxers rounds and be part of their highlight reel if it's broadcasted, if it gets to there. There's no fear at all, it just comes down to business. His role in this fight is to be a highlight reel on live network TV, and he deserves to be paid an acceptable amount. Harper made the right decision in front of thousands of viewers so his voice can be heard. At the end of the day, Harper and fighters like him gotta put food on the table. So Amir Khan and his wife had a bit of some drama between the two, which was known, and things would become worse when Anthony Joshua liked Khan's wife's photo on Instagram. Then a Snapchat conversation surfaced. So like in the stereotypical celebrity fashion, this was taken to Twitter where Khan tweeted a bit too much information and also accusing Anthony Joshua to be the #1 suspect because he had liked his wife's post. Then to announce he will be splitting up with her. Obviously you will hear from the wife as well, denying such accusations, then to throw some burn his way by saying, "I'm not the one who's been in the papers for cheating." Joshua came back with a tweet of his own, and as quickly as this erupted, it soon ended with Khan apologizing to Joshua and stating it was a misunderstanding. Showtime and HBO have been going head to head for many years, but it wasn't really much bad blood. That would all change in the year 2012. It was Floyd Mayweather's final fight on the HBO contract, making him a free agent, with the looming possibilities of a future mega fight against Pacquiao. If he were to get past Tim Bradley that next month, HBO was quite confident Mayweather will renegotiate a deal, as they thought that they had everything Floyd needed, opponent and money-wise.
Hey, how y'all doing? How are you? Hey, how y'all doing? Good. Oh man, that boy was tough tonight. He didn't lay down, but
August Sanchez, when you had to do that.
But guess what?
Yeah.
It's all about excitement, and that's what we gave the fans on pay-per-view tonight. We wasn't running, we wasn't moving. We did a little running, we did a little bit of moving. But the main thing is we gave the fans excitement, and that's what they want to see.
You're saying fans want to see guys hit and get hit, and you're willing to fight that way?
Well, I'm older now, so tonight I had to give the fans what they wanted to see. They paid the money, so I gave them a show.
Little they knew, CBS Under the Table offered Floyd a deal he couldn't refuse, where the money was more than enough. Promotions were brought on board, and a massive funding was directed to their boxing division to promote and completely revamp Showtime Boxing just for Floyd. All Floyd had to do was beat Miguel Cotto.
But I must commend HBO. You guys been doing a hell of a job for so many years. And, I apologize to Larry, what happened the last time. I feel that I was wrong, but things happen. And I want the fans and the people to forgive me. And you guys do a great job and keep up the good work.
You're a brilliant public relations man, always have been. Thank you very much for your time.
Love
all right?
Fans. Thank you.
Great performance tonight.
2 post-fight interviews.
If you watch the Showtime documentary, 30 Days in May, it was cut clear Floyd had already agreed before the Cotto fight took place to avoid any litigation when this was aired, especially showing the Cotto event. The posters were censored. Anything that said HBO was censored straight down to the camera crew's hat, as seen in this clip. Summer of that year, Showtime and HBO stepped on each other's feet, scheduling an event on the same day in the same city, airing at the same time. Rising star Canelo Alvarez against Josecito Lopez on Showtime. HBO, you had the highly anticipated middleweight matchup between Sergio Martinez versus Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. This was no coincidence. This was a textbook piss-taking contest. After the 2012 year ended, in 2013, boxing promotions took sides with TV networks, taking their fighters with them, creating the Boxing Network Cold War, forever changing the political landscape in the sport. Maurice put on a good show against Ortiz. Even though he was not winning, he was making it very entertaining with back and forth action and forcing Ortiz to stay on the offensive. Though being dropped in the 6th round, Hooker was still going toe-to-toe with Ortiz rather than just packing it up and fighting on the defensive to a decision which he had every right to do.
The next exchange. This is the fight that Maurice Hooker wants to avoid. It's just going to take one shot. Get back on the outside. He's the next.
In an odd exchange, it led Hooker to dislocate his elbow, forcing him to take a knee and retire from the fight. If not for the injury, he would obviously continue to put up a good show for the people. This is when things take a turn. Despite putting on a valiant effort, some folks, who I wouldn't dare call boxing fans, started booing and harassing Hooker as he was being interviewed. There's a saying, kill him with kindness, and in this case, Hooker did the right thing calling them out.
I heard my hand both at the same time. I mean, look at this replay. My hand popped. Look, I got a knock. Hey, and everybody booing. Yeah, that number warrior.
No fighter deserves that nonsense. Hooker even went the extra mile, jumping out the ring and attempting to go after them.
Yeah, what's up?
Todd. Thank you, Chris. And here comes Mighty Mo Hooker.
Murky Sosa was more of the underrated fighters from the 90s that was not able to win a title, a real tough-as-nails fighter with incredible recovery skills. He always came up short, either win and you're in for a title shot or fight for a title itself. Sosa gave James Toney all he can handle, losing by a narrow split decision, the point deduction being the difference maker, split decision loss to Tony Thornton, and another close decision against Michael Nunn. After losing to Nunn, Sosa finally fought his way back up to where if he beats Roy Jones Jr., he will be back in line for a title shot, as this will be maybe Sosa's last chance to have a crack at the title at his physical peak. Before the fight even started, it was foreshadowing a bad night for Sosa. By the time the co-main event is starting, the main event fighters' hands are already wrapped up and they starting to warm up with their gloves, doing mitt work. Sosa's gloves did not arrive at his dressing room till it was literally minutes from the ring walk. When the gloves did arrive, which were supposed to be brand new gloves, he was given used wet gloves.
There's supposed to be 2 sets of boxing gloves available. They couldn't find any. There's supposed to be one in case a glove splits or anything in the corner. You can quickly change the glove. I don't know what's going to happen if this is the only set. I've heard of upsmanship. This smacks of glovesmanship.
Once these gloves were thrown on him, the commission rushed him out to the ring, cold, dry, and not able to be warmed up. When fighters are dry and not warmed up before a match, they are more susceptible to getting knocked out in the first round. Obviously, the cold Sosa was going to get cracked early by Roy and have to go on the defensive. Sosa was able to weather the storm in the second round. Though Roy was landing beautifully, Sosa was really cracking Roy, giving him one of the toughest fights.
Jones had mentioned that he wanted to fight Sosa on the inside, and that's what he's doing. Keep up the pace. These 2 guys are fighting, especially Jones, when he lets those flurries go.
And Sosa momentarily stunned Jones there with
And now Sosa is starting to swell under the left eye.
Till Roy finally found an opening and dropped him for the first time in the fight. Sosa gets up, buying time and playing possum, and the ref stops the fight. Sosa immediately, without hesitation, soon as that hand is waved to stop the fight, he pushes the ref and attempts to throw a shot at him. And luckily his team was able to hurry up and hold him back before it got ugly. Team Sosa absolutely infuriated at the ref, the HBO team agreeing with Team Sosa that it was an awful stoppage, and if the ref thought he was out on his feet, New York rules allows for a standing 8 count where he can call it, analyze, and make his decision right there.
Jim, he should have called a standing 8 count. They have a standing 8 count in New York. If he would have given Sosa a standing 8 count, he could have observed what kind of condition Murky was in, At the end of the standing 8 count, you should have said to Murky, take a step toward me, and if Murky didn't wobble, you let the fight go. He should have never stopped it. That's the opportunity for the standing 8 count. He should have definitely called the standing 8 count at that point.
Going by this interview of Murky a little over 10 years ago, that night in Madison Square Garden still haunts him. Even if he didn't think Sosa was going to win, he still deserved a fair shake.
About the stoppage, I think what's interesting is that the referee, in a sense, took into account what Roy Jones does so great with his lightning reflexes and lightning punches, but he didn't take into account what the other guy has done so well, in that he has fought many fights like this, and that when you're in the big show, you got a chance, you deserve the benefit of a doubt to be able to fight the kind of fight that you can fight.
In an old ES News interview, Roy Jones Jr. claimed that Murky Sosa was one of the hardest punchers he had faced, and stated that Sosa hit so hard that even when he missed, he hurt you. I believe this beef started up way before the fight even took place. Unfortunately, I can't find the origin. But what really ignited things was when Terrence pulled up at Benavidez' Media Day workout. Terrence is mostly a reserved guy, but guys like Terrence and especially Spence Jr., they are low-key one of the best in the game when it comes to roasting. Just because they are reserved don't mean they are boring or bad talkers. Going by all the footage of Terrence trash talking, you could definitely tell that he's never lost a lunchroom roast battle in school.
Be ready. What I told you. Be ready. What you tell me? That you gonna get your ass beat, boy. Be ready. Focus on your fight. Be ready for the ass beat. I'm gonna get all them burritos out you, boy. Put your purse on it. Ooh. Let's get some real shit going. I said put your purse on it, motherfucker. Hey, look. You ain't gotta fight me. You ain't gotta fight me. I am Saturday.
Since this ain't Twitter, and you can't take a break to think and write a comeback, or have someone ghostwrite you a comeback, no names. Benavidez' best option was to try and get physical, leading to an altercation to be put to an end. So fast forward its weigh-in day, and let me repeat once again, because some folks say when stuff like this happens, it's fake. Fighters' nerves are on edge, they are hungry, thirsty, and just the slightest physical thing to annoy them will set them off. What started it here, they were both trash talking at the face-off. Benavidez' nose touches Terrence's. His nose touches first, but Benavidez thought the other way around, pushes Terrence. Terrence ain't gonna allow being disrespected in his own backyard, and without thinking, launches a haymaker, just narrowly missing him. Just look at the reaction of Benavidez' team member, just priceless. Security and police quickly split the two up. It was at that moment where Terrence knew he got him. He smiles back and sticks his tongue out at Benavidez.
Yeah, that right there tells me that the bad blood is real. Yeah. It's not just talk, it's real. Let's see what happened right here. Oh, he rolled with it. Good early defense from Benavidez. He got out the way. That wouldn't have been good if Terrence connected with that with no gloves on. Wow.
With all the exchanges on social media leading up to this, I don't think anyone was surprised to see some actions take place at the press conference.
And get suspended.
Don't make excuses.
But somehow
don't make excuses before the fight.
You're a cheater.
Don't make excuses before the fight.
You got suspended for 6 months.
Say whatever you say. See you November 6th. You're gonna see something special on you. And feel you're not on my level. And you will see November 6th. You're not gonna find out. I promise you.
Now, supposedly Canelo misinterpreted one of Plant's insults and took it in a literal sense and pushed Plant. Plant obviously not going to take that and be embarrassed in that manner because dude got pushed back all the way into the third row. Plant rushes over to Canelo and tries to slap him. Rarely in this type of situation, a boxer will have his boxing mindset on and throw what he or she was taught in the gym, and Canelo sure did. Plant just barely gets him with his fingertips as he rolls it off to land a beautiful counter left on Plant. This sent Plant's sunglasses flying, and since Plant was wearing those thick rigid frame sunglasses, that left some damage under his eye. Luckily, the cut was not that bad to where the fight was able to continue as scheduled.